Hi, my name is Joe Young, and I'm going to give you 7 tips on how to be a successful professional artist. I've been eating off my art for over 35 years. I've had some victories, but I've had a lot more mistakes, and I want you to learn from my mistakes on how to be a successful professional artist. So let's go. Tip number 1, be passionate about your craft. Make sure it's a craft that you love and you can't wait to wake up in the morning to do your craft. Tip number 2, have a plan. Be specific about what you want to do with your craft. Write it down on paper. Come up with short-term and long-term goals. For example, if you want to be a comedian, say in month number 1, I want to write a routine. Month number 2, I want to be booked at a certain place. In a year, I want to be at the Funny Bone or whatever the comedy club is in your area. Tip number 3, work hard. When you work hard, things happen, and the luckier you get to obtain certain goals. Sometimes you have to put in 12 to 18 hours a day, whatever it takes. Sometimes you're not going to be able to go to sleep. Some days I don't go to sleep depending on a project. You also want to work hard to maintain relationships, because to be successful and to continually be successful is about those relationships that you have. Last and certainly not least, one of the things that I do is I write down 15 to 25 things a day that I have to accomplish before I go to sleep. And that will be your tool to make sure you hit your benchmarks during the day to achieve your goals. So working hard is so important. I heard somebody say, the harder I work, the luckier I get. Tip number 4, you have to be super organized with your time and your money. You got to stay away from being distracted, because that takes you away from your goals. You also have to manage your money wisely and remember to save. As a professional artist, you're going to get left curves and rainy days come. And when you save, that money will be there for rainy days. It might be supplies, it might be a plane trip, whatever it is. Also, you have to invest in yourself. That's why you have to have money if you're a professional artist. A lot of people say, I don't have money, but there's all kinds of ways you can raise money. You can do Uber, you can do Lyft. There's this new thing called Tackle that you can do odd jobs. You can sell things on Facebook. I remember when me and my son were doing Diamond Rough, we were selling everything. We even sold cars, whatever it took. There's ways for you to raise money to invest in yourself. Tip number 5, this is an important one. Use technology. When I was starting out 35 years ago, I didn't have the advantage that emerging artists have today, and that's technology. For instance, use Google Docs. I live and die by Google Docs. That's where you can store files and you can save things and documents and things like that. So use Google Docs, because you never know when you're going to need a document or you're going to have to produce some type of artwork that you had saved. Now, social media, we didn't have that years ago. This is probably, to me, one of the most important things for you to get your work out. Years ago, if you had to get to the masses, you had to find a manager, an agent. You had to convince a distribution company to take on your work. You're trying to get discovered. Social media, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is, you have that now, and you can get your work to the masses. My daughter Paige has a YouTube channel called Young Music, where she does reaction to K-pop music, and with my other sons. They have millions of views, and they even get checks because they have used social media to their advantage, and I didn't have that. You know, about 25% of my business right now comes from social media. So go on those social media platforms and get discovered. Tip number 6, don't let criticism stop you from doing your work. You see, as artists, we're very sensitive people. That's how we're able to create such work. But when you become an artist, you sign up for having your work being judged and criticized and praised by the public. And so you have to expect criticism. It comes with the territory. Again, that's what you sign up for. But that's why you have to be passionate about what you do. So it doesn't matter what someone says. You're doing it because you're in love with the process. You're in love with the craft. And most times when you become a little bit more successful, you'll find more criticism comes in. But again, it comes with the territory. So be prepared for it, move on. But you still want to listen to make sure they may see something that you don't see. So there might be some good in criticism as well. And also, when you start to become a little bit more successful, be humble. The worst thing I don't like is when I hear artists toot their own horn. If you're good, people will toot your horn for you, because when you do it yourself, it kind of makes you look weak. But when other people toot it, it makes you even seem stronger, because someone thinks so much, of your work. And it's better for marketing, I think, too, when people hear other people talking about it and they create a buzz for you. Tip number 7, to me, is one of the most important tips. And that is, be the best at what you do. Now, just say you're not the most talented person, you can become the most skilled. And how do you get skilled? That's just constantly and being obsessed with your craft and working on it day in and day and night. There's a saying that if you work on something for 10,000 hours, you can become an expert. I believe that. All right. So what you want to do is be effective at what you do, because when you're effective and you're the best, the world comes to you. Now, there's a saying that I always say when I'm speaking at different places, and I believe it. And it says, if you run after success, success runs away. But if you run after being effective and being the best, the world comes to you. Well, I hope you enjoyed these 7 tips that I've used to help me eat for over 35 years. Please use this. I've also learned that the more I share, the more I give, the more it comes back to me. So I'm asking you to like and share this video, and hopefully it'll help someone become a professional, successful artist. I'll see you soon. I look forward to seeing your masterpieces. Peace.